What's up, guys? Today I'm bringing in this Galvantula led team once again for part 2. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, I will leave the link right here. Definitely go check it out. And in that set of 5, towards the end in the last match, we do see the closest game I think I've ever had in the Battle League. So definitely some exciting stuff there. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. Coming right in here with the gameplay, I am still using Galvantula in the lead with Galarian Stunfisk to back it up, and then Shiftry, of course, as the back, as kind of like a bait to draw out some of the weaknesses to this team. So here we do see Venusaur on the lead, something that's a little bit more uncommon. We are going straight for the lunge here, trying to connect and deal super effective. Both Volt Switch and Vine Whip aren't really doing very much to each other, but I am going to stay in this matchup. So he does choose to retreat with energy and come into Galarian Stunfisk. So of course I'm going to go into Shiftry. Shiftry is able to soak up one Rock Slide here, but really not more than that. But with these back-to-back Leaf Blades, we are able to pressure shields and hit really hard as well, which makes Shiftry once again like a really great counter to things like these Galarian Stunfisk and the Azumarill. So we are going to have to commit a shield here and try to get to another Leaf Blade. It won't take it out necessarily, but it will bring it very low, and then hopefully we'll be able to farm with Snarl from there. And it is seeming like we are successfully able to do that. So I'm thinking the Venusaur is going to come back in, but in comes an Obstagoon. So very bad for my backline, as those counters will add up. So I'm making the switch immediately into Galvantula and going for the lunge, hoping to connect, which will do super effective to this as well. My opponent does choose to shield and swap into Venusaur. So this most likely is that Sludge Bomb coming through, which would do massive to Galvantula. So we do have to shield it up. And I wasn't expecting him to have that much loaded energy. So the second Sludge Bomb comes through and is unfortunately able to take us out. I do have to bring in my Galarian Stunfisk, as a Sludge Bomb would very easily take out Shiftry. So Frenzy Plant coming in, doing a lot of damage too. The Stunfisk able to farm up a little bit before firing off this Earthquake. It should be enough to take out the Venusaur. So now I'm still in a tough position, as this Obstagoon will still be doing quite a lot of damage with those counters, and it is fairly bulky. Night Slash does come through and connect, but we are able to barely survive. We are throwing the Rock Slide here, and it is unfortunately not enough to take the Obstagoon out. Shiftry comes in, and we're unable to get the Leaf Blade. So that is the first game, which we do take a loss there. So great game my opponent there. The Obstagoon and the Venusaur together was really, really difficult for this team to get around. Plus the play where she ended up retreating with that Venusaur ended up really pressuring the my team shields late game. So in here comes, we're matched up with a Whiskash, so pretty bad. So my gameplay here is to take a Mud Bomb here and then retreat with energy into Shiftry. Of course, this Whiskash does not want to see the Shiftry, so it's immediately going to leave and bring in the Bastiodon, I believe. So we are still in a good position here to be able to stay in this matchup and hit these Leaf Blades. They again are doing just neutral, but with how fast they're charging up, it's hitting pretty hard. With Bastiodon Smackdown as well, it's not really able to charge up energy very quickly. So we are able to most likely shield here and go ahead and pressure their shield some more, just because we want to be able to save the Shiftry endgame for that Whiskash. So I am going to charge up a lot of energy here before firing off a Leaf Blade, seeing if I can take a shield. And we are, which is huge, able to get to another Leaf Blade once again. And at this point I can tell that my opponent really wants to get rid of this Shiftry. So able to fire up a little bit more energy. Now we have Switch and Shield advantage. In comes a Hypno, so I'm immediately swapping back into Galvantula and then able to connect with this lunge. And that'll definitely drop the debuff there. I'm immediately going to go for a second lunge as well before this Hypno is able to take us out. And this is just how fast Galvantula is able to charge up to energy. It's really, really insane, the damage output this thing can do. So here, I really could have very well gone into Shiftry, but I kind of wanted to play a little bit safer and get rid of all the energy off of this Whiskash. So just farming up a little bit here, making sure that Whiskash is getting rid of its energy with these Mud Bombs so that I don't have to take a charge move. I did save a shield for this endgame moment here where the Whiskash does throw the Mud Bomb, which at this range would still take us out. We shield it up, throw the Leaf Blade, and that's game. So great game there. With the Galvantula in the lead, it does help us either win a lot of lead matchups with that Skarmory, with that Azumarill, with maybe like a Meganium in the lead. And if we lose that, then we're able to immediately switch into our kind of like our sack swap bait being Shiftry, and usually we're able to pressure shield and as well as draw out a lot of their flyers in the back if they do have it, or their fighters, so we can reconnect it with a better matchup. So we do see the Deoxys in the lead, which is really the best case scenario for our team here, just because Galvantula will be doing super effective to it, and my backline won't really want to see Deoxys very much with those counters. Fortunately for Shiftry, it does have an out in terms of that foul play, but still, even how squishy it is, it would take quite a bit of damage. I did want to be able to swap out here and catch the Rock Slide, but I ended up not, and thinking that I can probably most likely farm down here, I commit a shield. But this is something that I've learned in this matchup, which I'll take later on, is that if you do that, even with the attack debuff, they will double KO. So in here I decide between Stunfisk and Shiftry, I decide to go for Stunfisk, play it a little bit safer, and of course, it's an Azumarill instead. So I was like, alright, we'll play it out the best as we can. We're going to throw the Earthquake here, trying to do some good neutral. But they decide to shield, which is huge, as my Shiftry will come in without having to worry about them shielding. So here I'm hoping that it's just going to be an Ice Beam, and sure enough it is, but that still means that the Azumarill has energy in the back. We will have to shield this, as we do not want an Ice Beam to connect with Shiftry, as it will take out well over 70% of the health. And Galarian Stunfisk comes in. So this is good, just because we have energy farmed up from that last matchup with Azumarill. So Leaf Blades again are coming back to back, and this is what makes Shiftry really, really deadly in this meta right now, by keeping the back line, as people are using Azumarills as a safe swap and then Galarian Stunfisk in the middle, and Shiftry is going to be able to easily counter both of those. So he decides to throw the Earthquake instead, which is an interesting play, just because now we don't have to worry about his energy anymore. So we are able to farm up just a bit before firing off a Leaf Blade. Azumarill comes in, we are able to fire off another one, dealing a lot of super effective damage. And the positive thing here is that he cannot bubble us down. So he will have to fire off the Ice Beam to get rid of the Shiftry before we get to that Leaf Blade. So very easily here, able to bring in Galarian Stunfisk back in and comfortably get to that Earthquake to take this game. So again, having that Shiftry to pressure, as well as it having a lot of dynamic counters, has been very, very positive for this team. And fortunately for the Galvantula, it does go pretty well up against a lot of flyers, except for Altaria, so it does help balance that out and help that Shiftry in the back. So we do see the Deoxys again on the lead, so this is a pretty good matchup for us. We have learned from, of course, previous experience that we do double KO. So I throw the lunge, and he makes a swap into Galarian Stunfisk to catch that, which is a really, really great play here. But you can see here, even though he does do that, with the attack debuff, usually Shiftry cannot take 2 Rock Slides. But because the Stunfisk has had a 1-stage attack drop, we are able to absorb these a lot better and not have to commit to shields, which is a huge thing later on this game. So Rock Slide, we are going to absorb that again, and at this point we are able to outpace this Stunfisk. And of course these mud shots are doing negligible damage. We are able to farm up just a tiny bit, but I didn't want to risk it again before he fires off that Rock Slide. So able to take it out. Most likely Deoxys coming back in with that counter. And we are unable to farm any, but we are up a shield right now, which is pretty big. So I was going to try to catch a Rock Slide there, but was unable to. And at this point I do need to commit shields to be able to come out on top, just because we don't want to have that situation again where we have a double knockout. So he is going to be able to let this lunge through, and again, even with that debuff, that Rock Slide is just still going to be able to do too much damage to the Galvantula. So we ended up shielding and farming up. So in comes the Machamp. So this is again another highlight on how this debuff can help us soft lose, just because it will do super effective to Machamp and it will need to shield. But with that Weather Ball taking us out now, I'm able to come in with Glare and Stunfisk, which usually would take a lot of damage from those Weather Balls. Plus, the Machamp did have some loaded energy up, but here, because we did drop its attack by one stage, we are able to soak up these Weather Balls a whole lot better. So at this point he does take one Rock Slide, and there's no way that he'd be able to get to 2 Weather Balls before I get to 1 more Rock Slide. So at this point it's pretty comfortably game. And there, we take that match. So great getting my opponent there, and you can see how Galvantula, especially on the lead, and be able to gain up some energy, does help us soft lose a lot of matches so that we can sweep a little bit better endgame. So this is the last match of 5 here, and we are matched up with the Machamp. So again, fighter in the front definitely helps us deal with this a little better with the Galvantula. And Volt Switches are being able to do a lot. I could have shielded this cross chop here, but I ended up not wanting to take the damage on that. He swaps out into Ferrothorn, and here I take a little bit too long to decide what I want to switch into. So unfortunately this Ferrothorn was able to farm up quite a bit on the Bullet Seed. I do take a Flash Cannon, which does a very large amount of damage, but we're coming back in here and hitting pretty hard with these foul plays. So he seems like she's farming up quite a bit of energy here, but doesn't fire off the Power Whip at all. So we go for the foul play, and it connects and takes it out. So Machamp comes back in, and of course we have to bring in Galvantula. I am trying to go for the lunge to give it an attack drop here, and it does shield. And so we want to go for hopefully a second bait here, but she ends up taking it on that Machamp. But cross chop here, especially with the debuff, won't be able to take us out. So now we're in a really good position just because the Galvantula has loaded up energy. So in comes the regular Stunfisk. So definitely don't see a lot of those anymore. We go for the lunge and go for the attack drop here. I believe they do make it to their charge move first, but we do shield this just so that we can get to the next lunge. So at this point, even if she decides to take the hit on the Stunfisk, the main thing is that we have dropped its attack by 2, and at this point there is not really a way that with Mud Bombs she's going to be able to do enough damage to my Stunfisk. As you can see, it's very little. So even a Rock Slide at that point will take us out. So there you go. And that is the 4-1 in this set. So together we do make a 9-1 between both of those sets. Galvantula is a very good lead, and definitely try it out. So if you like this video, please smash that like button for me and consider subscribing for more. We definitely post every single week, and with everything going on in the Battle League, there's always new team comps rotating. So thank you guys very much, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.